Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Arsenal show, or maybe not. Maybe you're not very pleased to be here tonight, but after that atrocity that we just watched, we all thought that we was going to come back with a nice little win after, which was, a terrible performance against Palace. Get back to winning ways, but it never happened. I've got Jerome here with me. We're going to try and get into what happened this afternoon in this absolutely, let's face it, it was an awful performance apart from maybe the last 10 minutes where, Odegaard got the goal. We could talk about Martinelli's offside goal. But look, that's not going to take away from the performance of today, and we'll get into it as much as we can. I mean, this is a ratings show, as you all know. Do they deserve a rating? Most of them are. Do they get over a 4 or a 5? I mean, I don't think we've ever came onto a post-match show and probably felt that way. But we'll do the best we can. Jerome, how you doing, mate?
Oh, it's gutting, isn't it? It's to have 2 defeats on the bounce like that, and obviously, if we're going to talking about this performance, I like Arteta. He's done brilliantly, but I think he made it's easy with hindsight, but I think he's made a mistake in terms of the selection today, which I guess we'll maybe touch on perhaps in terms of the midfield. I think putting Xhaka at left back. I think for me, I was talking to some sort of mates on WhatsApp during the game, talking about who should have played in midfield, what players should have played there. And for me, if Partey isn't playing, Xhaka has to play in midfield, and that is the end of the discussion. He has to play there. And I think that killed us. Not saying we would have won if Xhaka would have played in midfield with Lokonga, because you never know, but the midfield was horrific in the first half, and that's not blaming Sambi, who I thought had a half decent game, to be honest, out of all the players. But you can't just have him in the midfield on his own. Smith Rowe, not a centre midfielder. Odegaard, I think maybe in Spain perhaps he could play a bit deeper, being at a slower pace. But I think in the Premier League, I think that playing him in that position, Odegaard, I don't think it works. And I think if you want my honest thoughts, I think that's going to cost us the top 4. I think we couldn't have afforded these 2 losses. Hope I'm wrong, but yeah.
I mean, I think we knew. We've said on a lot of Arsenal shows that we was always going to be worried that if we got a couple of injuries to run, didn't we? What would happen? We knew from the bench that they wasn't going to be good enough, and then on top of that, if you had started to get players who were then starting to come off the form, and put the 2 together, then you could see us being in trouble, and I think that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
We can go into something else that, an elephant in the room that I'm sure a lot of people have been speaking about and been thinking about over the last few weeks. We may talk about that, and we may very well talk about it a lot more when Kieran's in the seat on Tuesday night. But look, we're going to do our best to try and get into this, and we'll go through it by doing through the player ratings. But as we're going through the player ratings, what we'll do, we'll try and explain all together, not necessarily by giving each player their specific mark, because I think today's performance was a lot more than just players' specific performance. I think there's a lot more to talk about than just that. But what we do, Jerome, we will start off with the goalkeeper. We will start off with Jerome. With Aaron Ramsdale. And how did you think he did today?
I don't think he had a lot to do. I can't really remember him making a save, to be honest. I'd love to. I don't have the stats in front of me in terms of shots and shots on target, but I don't think he had anything to do apart from picking the ball out of the net twice. Really. So it's you can't say he had a bad game. Didn't have a good game. He hardly touched the ball, to be honest. So it's hard really to give him a score, isn't it?
It is all of them. Yeah, it's like that today. It really is.
Yeah. So you could maybe give him a 5 or a 6, I suppose.
Yeah. I agree with you, mate. You can't really give him more. Johnny's in there. He's put a 6. I'd probably say that's about right.
Yeah.
He wasn't at fault for the goals, and apart from that, exactly what Jerome said. I mean, what else does he? What else did he do? From going on from Ramsdale and his rating. I mean, the actual defence, Jerome, and then what we'll do, we'll give each player a rating. Afterwards, the actual defence.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, as the actual defence was set up, was that okay with you? You spoke about earlier that Jack was put as left back.
Yeah.
Give your ratings for all of them, mate, and just explain a bit about how that defence was set up for us.
To be honest with you, I don't really have too many problems with the defence today. I mean, the centre backs I thought were fine. I think they had a lot better games than they had against Palace, both of them, Ben White and Gabriel. I thought they were good. Xhaka had a good game as well, to be fair, but he's not a left back. And then it just affects the midfield. I think the midfield is the talking point rather than the defence. Cedric was okay-ish. Wasn't too bad. Their left midfield, I think Trossard was quite a tricky player, especially in the first half. But the defence were okay. I don't really have any issues with the defence today. So they could all maybe get like straight 6s, perhaps. In terms of giving them a score.
Do you think Xhaka was at fault for the goal? I mean, okay, look, he's playing as left back, so I suppose he's not a left back. But was there anyone at fault for the first goal?
You know what? I can't remember the first goal. It seems like so long ago.
Yeah. I don't. Probably it wasn't actually. It's just one of them ones that comes across, and I think with that first goal, you can look at the midfield again because they just didn't have that backup. When normally you would have Xhaka probably helping out these centre halves because the centre half seems to have got caught on their heels, and Trossard just simply came in.
Oh, that's it. He ran onto
into the back of the net. Well, you think, where was the midfield players? And,
that's it. Yeah.
So what would your marks be for the original left backs?
Yeah, I'd probably just give them all 6s.
Yeah,
I thought they were okay. It was the midfield that was the problem today.
Yeah. Well, let's get onto that, mate. I mean, Samuel Lokonga, we've spoken about. Is he ready? Is he ready just to come in and think, okay, Thomas Partey's out. Oh, it's okay. We've got Samuel Lokonga to come in. I think we're seeing that it's not. Yeah. I think it obviously stands out a mile that Nico Arteta was looking for a midfield player in the January window, and it didn't happen. And I think as time goes on, we've seen that Lokonga is not ready. Personally, for me, I would have rather played Elneny in there than Lokonga because he just due to the experience because he's not ready.
You know what it is?
He's not ready.
I'd say what it is. Even if you play Partey in that game, I don't think you can play a centre midfielder and then have Smith Rowe and Odegaard as the two next to him because they're too attacking. They're not central midfielders. You can't play Premier League games with one central midfielder. And I'm surprised at Arteta because he's obviously a fantastic coach, really intelligent football guy, and he's done it a couple of times this season. I think once we got away with it against Burnley away, but he's done it. I think we might have done it against Palace at home. I think he played that sort of formation with Odegaard and Smith Rowe. It didn't work then. The midfield is just too open, and it's cost us massively. This Brighton team, by the way, coming into this game, like their last 10 games, it was something ridiculous, like 1 win, 4 draws, and 5 defeats or something. Like they had a terrible record coming into this game.
Yeah.
And it's not Sambi's fault at all. It's the manager. I know the players didn't play well, but the manager I think he set them up all wrong.
So what would you have done, Jerome? How would you have set that Who would you have played at left back? Who would you have put in the midfield?
So I'd have played Tavares at left back, and I'd have played Sambi and Xhaka as the two centre midfielders.
Yeah.
And then have maybe Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, maybe Odegaard, and then a striker. But I wouldn't have played just Sambi in centre midfield on his own. You're asking for trouble, and I hope he doesn't do it again, because if he does, it's going to be the same outcome.
Yeah. I mean, the Arsenal did look a lot better when Saka went into the midfield in the second half.
Yeah.
But how surprised was you when then Martinelli got put as left back?
Yeah.
Was you like, what's he doing there? Could we have brought 3 centre backs on, played 3 at the back? That shocked me a little bit, considering we was down and we needed a goal, and you're bringing in probably our most dangerous player on the pitch, and you're playing him at left back.
That's it. He's picking it's like playing Saka at left back again, isn't it? He's picking the ball up, and he's like 50 yards from goal. Like, that's not where you want Martinelli. I think he's really got it wrong today, the manager.
Yeah. What would you give? What would you rating be for Sambi today, Jerome?
You know what? I don't know if a 7 is too high, but maybe a 7 perhaps for Sambi. I thought he was okay. He had a couple of good forward runs where he got fouled a couple of times. I felt sorry for him because he was on his own in that midfield. I think he got not fed to the sharks, but he was proper thrown in at the deep end of Congo. It's not fair on him. You got to have someone supporting him a bit, someone that's got a bit of experience. Yeah, no, it's a bit out of order on him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 7.
He always gets flung, but he's always going to get flung in with that. It's not. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I think he was injured. I think Partey was injured or Jack was injured, and when he was playing with either or other in that midfield, we probably see the best of Lukonga, and we was getting very excited over him, wasn't we?
Yeah. He's not. It's a lot of responsibility to play in that role on your own.
Yeah,
and I said, even if Partey played in that position on his own with Smith Rowe and Odegaard, I think he might struggle.
What did you think about the offside goal? I suppose we've got to talk about.
Right. So I was watching it on TV, and for me, the camera angles they were showing, it was a bit inconclusive. It wasn't clear because there was a defender next to the goalie, and from the camera angle, you couldn't really see where the defender's leg was. So, there's a saying, isn't there, with VAR, clear and obvious. Well, for me, that wasn't clear and obvious. Not only was it not clear and obvious, you couldn't see where the guy's leg was, so you couldn't actually see it. So
I'm gonna. Do you know what annoyed? I'm gonna have a rant here.
Yeah, go on, Steve.
I'm gonna have a rant. Right, we played terrible today. We didn't deserve to win the game. With whether they give Martinelli's goal onside or offside, whatever decision came of it. But one thing I will say, right, that they did everything in their power, those officials on that pitch, right, and wherever they are sitting in Stockley Park, to get that goal, not a goal.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think, right, that Nico Arteta has got to say something. Because I think it went, comments, tell me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if I'm wrong. But I think it took 5 minutes for them to come to a conclusion to make sure that wasn't a goal. And for me, they did everything in their power, Jerome, to try and make that not a goal. That was like what you just said. It wasn't clear and obvious. So if it's not clear and obvious, you don't go 5 minutes to try and get every single little bit, every angle, little thing to think, oh yeah, now we can not have that a goal. Now Arsenal can be spun down still. That's how it felt to me, mate. It really did.
You know what? If it feels like they're looking for it to be offside, isn't it? Yeah. Rather than, because I don't know if you might have seen the same photos as me, but you couldn't see where the player was. If you can see the player and he's offside, you hold your hands up and you say, right, fair enough, it's obviously he's offside. But you couldn't see the player. They're guessing. Yeah. They're guessing. Maybe he was offside, but if you don't know, you can't give it.
You can't give it.
Like you said, it took so long.
If you've taken 5 minutes to make sure to get a goal offside, right, there should be like 2 minutes. That's it. If you can't decide after 2 minutes, then it's a goal, right?
Yeah.
They must have got. How'd you go for 5 minutes? They must have tried everything. Oh no, that's not it. It doesn't look like. No.
Yeah.
I can't even remember in the end what they give it offside for. What the reason was. I mean, John.
I think they guessed.
Yeah,
I think they guessed.
I think they did. Johnny says here the goal should have stood. I thought if decisions were inconclusive, it meant to go within the exactly, mate. Exactly, it's meant to go with the attacking team.
Yeah, and with the original decision, which was a goal.
Yeah, which was the original decision was a goal. But look, that takes nothing away that Arsenal were dog shite today. But again, it was something that Arsenal seemed to have seeming to be following them and seems to be quite consistent over the last few weeks. But yeah. Again, probably something we'll talk more about on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, up front, I mean, we looked toothless, Jerome, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing, was there? I mean, can you remember there was okay at the end? And look, I mean, I don't want to keep on picking on him, but is it time for us to move Lacazette on?
I think they have to. I mean, can you see him scoring another goal for us before the end of the season, unless it's a penalty?
I can't see him having a shot.
No, I don't know how many touches he had, but if you're a team that's like chasing a game, or you're at home against the lower team in the maybe second half of the table, bottom half of the table, your striker's got to be touching the ball quite a lot. And I think Lewis Dunk was just probably had the easiest afternoon marking Lacazette. But this is where it's the manager. Like, the manager makes the decision to play him. Steve, if it was you for the next game, who would you start up front for the next game?
I think I played Martinelli up front.
Yeah,
I played Martinelli up front. Smith Rowe on the left, I think, had an absolutely awful game again today. He didn't have a great game with Palace. He had another bad game today, I felt. But yeah, for me, it's Martinelli. And ideally, I wouldn't want to do that. Ideally, I'd want to play him out on the left, because that's where I feel he's most dangerous. But again, you look at the squad and you think, who? And you start going into this false nine thing where you think, yes, we put Pepe false nine, and we're at a part of the season there where we can't start experimenting. For me, we could have done that early on in the season.
Yeah,
but that's what I would do. But today, I just thought again it was another very lackluster, performance from Lacazette. Before he was helping the players out, and but now I don't know. He seems to have dropped form, and I mean the big question. I mean the big question is, mate. I mentioned, has he made the mistake, Arteta? Now in hindsight,
what in January?
Yeah.
What can you getting rid of Aubameyang and not replacing him?
Well, either really. I mean, I personally have been told and heard that Aubameyang just, he didn't want to be there anyway. So there's not a lot he could have done about it, I suppose.
You know what?
But
I'll tell you what.
I think we're seeing what Aubameyang's doing now. Are you thinking, could something been done differently, or if not, should we have brought someone in? What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah. I think it's more the latter in terms of what you just said. I think Aubameyang had obviously down tools, and the relationship with him and the manager, I think, was obviously very poor, and he had to leave. But if you are going to let him go, I know we don't really like these short-term solutions, because that's something we've done and we don't really like it. But there are occasions when maybe you need to make that decision and get someone in, because otherwise you're going to be so threadbare up front, because basically both of our strikers probably won't be there next season.
Hopefully.
And I think they, looking back now, they had to bring someone in, even if it was a short-term loan, like the Odegaard one last season. I know it's not ideal for us, but given the circumstances we find ourselves in, you can't rely on. I mean, how many goals has Lacazette and Nketiah scored? Nketiah hasn't scored a league goal this season.
He hasn't scored.
And Lacazette, maybe 5 goals. A couple of them have been penalties, something like that. It's
and the
you're
last
chasing,
one, the last one he scored was Go on,
you're
mate.
chasing the top. You're chasing the top 4. There's going to be injuries in other areas of the pitch, and you're left with those 2 as your strikers. It's unfortunately, we've gotten quite close. I know it's not over yet, but I think that's just another decision that will end up costing us.
Yeah, I think it's something that is getting closer and closer to a really sort of deep conversation that's coming for the Arsenal show. I think Tuesday night, people out there, do not miss the Arsenal show, because I think it's going to be one hell of a show on Tuesday night. And let's go through a few ratings. Jerome, like Lacazette, what would you feel had his rating today?
Yeah, mate, I see. Maybe I see Johnny's put a 4 there. I'd probably go along with that, to be honest. Like anonymous, not a threat at all. Hardly touched the ball. I can't give him more than a 4.
No. And what about Saka today?
Yeah, maybe not one of his best games at all, was it?
No.
The last couple of games, but like we've said a lot on these shows, like these are youngsters, and when you're young, you are inconsistent. Like it'd be a miracle if he was to play his top level every week. So he is going to have these odd games where he's not as great, and maybe a 5 is possibly the right sort of score. He got kicked a couple of times as per usual. He got booked as well for diving, which I think the geezer might have caught him perhaps, but I saw it on a replay. But I just feel sorry. He gets lumps kicked out of him every week, doesn't he, Saka? Feel sorry for him.
What about Martinelli, Jerome? How do you think?
Well, our new left back, Martinelli.
I can't believe that. I really had to keep really thinking twice, and like that we needed to score a goal, and we had our most dangerous players playing as left back. What would I have done? Was Tavares was on the bench? Was he on the bench? He was on the bench.
Yeah, he was on the bench. Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Right.
Yeah.
I think Arteta's got a few. I like Arteta. We've supported Arteta all the way through. He's done some fantastic things this season, but this today, I don't know. He must have had a bad day or woke up the wrong side of the bed this morning or something. Because I don't know just what he was thinking. But Martin Elliott, right? Yeah.
I'd probably go along with Johnny as well. Yeah, I reckon a 5 for Martin Elliott.
Yeah. So, and talking of left backs, left back stroke midfield player, Granit Xhaka. How do you think he did?
You know what? He was maybe our best player today, perhaps Xhaka, when he went in midfield. Perhaps. So I think I'd probably agree with Johnny on that. Maybe a 6 or a 7, perhaps. I think him and Lokonga were probably our 2 better players, I would say, perhaps.
Especially the second half, wasn't they?
Yeah, second half. Like, we got sucker punch goal for the second one when they went 2-0 up. But we were chasing the game, weren't we? We were so desperate for the win. I think the next player, Odegaard, I think he had a stinker. I know he scored a goal, but he was the last 2 games. I think he's been really below par, Odegaard.
Yeah.
In terms of when you're comparing him to what he's capable of, but maybe that's because of where he was asked to play on the pitch a bit deeper. And
do you think it's something to do with the form of Smith Rowe and the form of Lacazette, who's in front of him?
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say definitely to do with Lacazette. Like, he's used to playing with Haaland at international level, and now he's stuck with Lacazette at club level. It's a bit of a difference, isn't it? I do feel sorry for him, and like I've said before, I don't think we'll see the best of Odegaard until he's got this centre forward to play with. Unfortunately, I would probably give him a 5 though. I thought he was really off his game. Unfortunately, and we like Odegaard on this show. We like him a lot, but you know what? With Odegaard, when he plays poorly, he really does have a poor game, just because he's so far off his level that we know he's capable of.
Yeah. Got Kletso here. He says, "How you doing, Kletso, mate? Thanks for turning up. There should be hiding in the background. Kletso says, like a dead fish laying in the sun, an absolute stink fest at the Emirates today. Well, you got that right, mate. It was an awful performance. And Jerome, so much at stake today, wasn't it? I mean, Manchester United, they've gone to Everton 1-0. Yeah. You must think to yourself, right, God, we get 3 points here today. That's Man United finished with if we win today. But losing today, that still leaves Man United in the hump, really. Tottenham are playing today. If Tottenham beat Aston Villa today, mate, is that it, really? Are they the team that's going to get Champions League?
Yeah, they're well favourites now, especially when you look at our remaining fixtures. This was on paper probably one of the easiest remaining fixtures. We've only got a few home games left now, and we're. I think this is a not going to sound too dramatic, but put the sort of final nail in the coffin. To be honest, just because of the games we've got coming up and the players we're missing, the confidence of that team as well in that dressing room must be so low now, mustn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll just Kletso's asking us here, Gerard, top 4 gone?
Yeah. For me, it has. I think it'd be a big surprise if we do make it.
But did we ever expect it, Jerome?
No, that's it. No,
I don't think we ever did we?
No, we the thing is, we put ourselves in a position where we had a very good chance.
A chance, yeah.
Didn't we?
We had a chance.
We put ourselves in contention.
Yeah. I think we was, especially on this show, I think we was all aware that there was going to be a time that if, like what we said at the beginning, if we did get a couple of injuries to sort of key players, or players did drop off form, that we could drop out of that Champions League chase, if you like, and we wasn't surprised by that. So we really shouldn't be surprised. We also said that I know I said once on the show that there will be times when we will get beat by lesser sides because of how young our team is, because we will get the odd injury going into the last parts of the season. So really, as much as disappointing was today, you can sit back and think, I mean, it's not totally unexpected, to be quite honest with you, with what Arteta's still got. I mean, the important thing is in the summer, he's got to go out and get the right players. I mean, how many players do you think we need, John?
Yeah, 5 or 6, I think, because we're not even taking into consideration the players that might be leaving. There could be quite a few leaving as well, like just in terms of a few that contracts are finished. Obviously, we've got a few players out on loan as well. Bellerin, Torreira, Maitland-Niles, Saliba. There's a big question mark over him.
Yep.
So I think what did we sign? 6 players in the summer just gone. So I think we're looking at probably a similar number again this summer. Yeah.
Do you think we'll get that amount though?
I think we have to, because if we're going to be in Europe as well, hopefully in some one of the European competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who they are and who that forward will be is for another show. But Johnny's not giving up hope yet. He says that I don't think it's done yet, and I still think there will be twists. Johnny, I can make you right, mate. There could still be twists, and and I don't know. If Aston Villa beat Spurs today, then that would mean that we've all got beat. So the 3 teams that are chasing 4th place. So then maybe we can sort of take a deep breath and think, okay, we go again next week. But I think Arsenal are going to find things hard now, because they're just, without players like Thomas Partey, without players like Kieran Tierney, and we've just got to hope those 3 front players get that form back. Whether they do or not is another thing. So he says here, Tierney and Partey injured, our season is over. Is it down to that, Jerome, or is it a bit more to it? than just that Tierney and Partey are injured and the season's over.
Yeah, I think that definitely doesn't help, does it?
No,
It definitely doesn't help.
No.
Yeah,
If you could pick 2 players that you didn't want injured at this time of part of the season, you'd be them 2, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, I suppose, you can only say that's unlucky. Johnny says, I wouldn't be surprised if we go and beat Chelsea. We need a bit of luck to go our way. We didn't have any luck again today. No, we didn't have any luck today, Johnny, but mate, we was poor. I mean, I think we was, I just don't, it was like against Palace. We was poor. We're looking tired. We're looking a bit toothless. And, the next game, who's the next game against? It's against Southampton, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, look, they've got hammered by Chelsea today. And
I think Spurs have just gone 1 up as well.
Oh, there you go. See, this is what all it takes. It's going to be difficult now. I think it's going to be difficult now. Even if we beat Spurs now, we would go on level points if they win today, and they have got a better goal difference.
Yeah.
So even beating them won't put us above them.
Yeah.
So it's looking very, very unlikely that we're going to still have a few more Thursday nights, I'm afraid. Kletso says, I agree with Jerome. We need about 7 new players. I agree that we probably need 7 players, probably a couple of first-team players, and the rest of the other 5, for me, will be like squad players. And that's where it gets difficult, you see. It gets difficult because it's hard to get players to come to a club to sit on a bench. But that's where the manager gets his money, isn't it? That's what he's paid to do. But Kletso again here, he says our bench is so weak. It is. Could he have done anything else, Jerome, off the bench today?
No, there wasn't really anyone else. He brought on obviously the 2 attacking players, Nketiah and Pepe. Other than that, you've got Hutchinson, just never played before, and then like the defensive players and El Nene. So
I think we're staunch Arsenal. I think there was a couple of players on there I never heard of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and that tells you something, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Kletso Viva Coutinho. I don't know what that means. Does that mean he equalised or something?
I don't know.
Or I don't know what that means. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you can tell us something. Again, Kletso, oh no, we're definitely not beating Chelsea. Hope we just get top 6 now. Yeah. But Chelsea are a funny side. They 1 minute they can be like this and 1 minute like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's a bit of a weird. I feel weird saying this, Jerome. But did we have a man of the match today?
It was a man of the match.
Who was our best player today?
I think maybe the Sambi or Xhaka for me would have been the nominations. They've like nothing from the forward players, and I said the defence were okay, but maybe one of the 2 midfielders. And it's a shame they both didn't play centre midfield the whole game because I think things might have been a bit different.
Yeah. And finally, mate, Nico Arteta. What was your ratings for him today? And just give us a little bit about him, mate. What you thought?
Nah, probably I'll give him a 4 along with Lacazette. I think if you want honestly, I think his decisions to start Xhaka at left back and Sambi on his own in midfield, I think they've cost us the game. So I'm surprised he'd done it. I wanted him to play Tavares at left back.
Yeah, I thought he should have done that.
But and I just hope he learns from this and doesn't do it again.
Is he still the man for you though, Jerome?
Yeah, he's been brilliant. He's been brilliant, Arteta. The fact that we're even, talking about being in the top 4 is credit to him. But
we have to remember that. So here he said, I'm rooting for Coutinho and Villa, but Son scored. God, you've very jinxed them, in other words, Coletso, because that's what you've done, isn't it? Yeah. Just you be quiet, just watch the game. Go and root for Son there, and then Coutinho might score. You never know.
Yeah.
Great stuff, mate. And then Johnny, Arteta 4. Yeah, bad day at the office for Nico Arteta. Coletso's here. Arteta got it wrong. Tavares should have started. He is so naive sometimes, but I love Mikel. Naive or just hasn't got no choice of what to do because it is difficult. But I think today was probably the worst time. I think he did make quite a few bad mistakes in team selection, and considering we ain't got much to select from, that makes it even worse. Because I think I said, like on the Arsenal show the other week, and I was last week, and I said all Arteta can do today was either this or this.
Yeah.
But he didn't do this or this. He done something completely different that I don't think any of you would have thought of.
No.
But it's definitely, as I said, a bad day at the office for Mikel. Tavares has stunk the place out the last 2 performances. Yeah, fair. Is that fair, Jerome?
You know what? Against Palace, I don't even think he was horrifically bad. I know he got brought off at half time, but everyone was crap against Palace. Against Forest, he was poor, but he only played for about 35 minutes. If you think if he really thinks this of him, Arteta, then he should get rid of him. Because if you play Xhaka left back instead of this guy, then like
you must think he's a better left back.
I don't get it.
No, it doesn't. One thing that always comes to mind when you put someone in a position, and it was similar with the England thing when you had the Chilwell and the Shaw, and they played the Trippier on the left-hand side. You remember? And it was like, if you're Chilwell or Shaw, you're thinking, hold up, you can't think much of me, and it can't really give you too much confidence. So the same here, really, regarding with Tavares. He's a left back, but you're playing your midfield player who they actually know he really, really needs, and he's really, really important in that midfield position, but they're still willing to take him out and put him in your position. So he must be thinking, am I that bad?
Yeah.
So that doesn't do well mentally. Just read this last comment but one. Saka at left back would have made more sense. To be honest, Xhaka can't play there, and Sammy can't handle the midfield alone, which I think we spoke about earlier, mate, wasn't it? We said about with Sambi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But he had a good game today. He was decent. He did the best he could, and I think that's why he got a decent mark. And Johnny agrees with Coletso. So look. Terrible results today. It's not over yet. We've still got the hope. We will be playing European football this season, and maybe a few of us got a bit carried away and got a bit excited. But I think on this show, we spoke about how realistic our chances were of getting Champions League football, and our squad needed to be stronger. And I think it's all coming to pass that's what it's looking like. So, but it's not over yet, and we could still get that fourth place. But it's not been a good day, a crazy day, and I'm going to go and relax and watch the golf now. Something a bit more chilled out, and and switch off for the rest of the night. But comments buzzing, Johnny, as always, Coletso, as always, thank you for coming in and listening, even on this bad day, I'm afraid, wasn't it, for the Arsenal? But we'll be back. Jerome, thanks for joining us, mate.
Pleasure. Cheers, Steve.
And Tuesday, as I said, don't miss Tuesday, because that's going to be a hell of a show. I would have thought. Plenty of different views and debate going on there. So until then, people, peace out, stay safe, and wash your hands.